Welcome to Uncaged on the talkSPORT MMA YouTube channel. I'm Adam Cattrall, he's Brennan Loughnane. Before we even get stuck into this, yes, we are in Dubai. The PFL are in town this week. It's Nurmagomedov versus Hughes. We're going to give you a preview of that, but this is your review of UFC 311. That's why we're slightly delayed bringing you the show, because I thought I'd come to your new hometown. This is your neck of the woods, isn't it?
Makes sense though, doesn't it? I mean, come on, who doesn't want to come to Dubai?
It's pretty nice out here, isn't it?
Right, isn't it?
Yeah.
We can't complain.
Town's looking good.
We're getting there.
Yeah?
We're getting there.
Sun's out, guns out, sun.
It is nice, isn't it? It's like the perfect weather at the minute. Like, give it another 2 months, you won't even want to come here. But this now is just as good as it gets.
And it's becoming, the more I visit the Middle East, this area is becoming a little bit of a hot spot for MMA. I know you've got some top gyms that you can train from. I know that you work out here. But the more fighters I speak to out here, they seem to be using Dubai as a bit of a base for a lot of training camps.
I mean, the gyms are getting much busier now over here. I came here in 2020 originally. MMA wasn't really a thing. Now, people like Makhachev making this their home, even myself. And, you know, that's a credit to the UAE and what they're doing with the sport, bringing this show over here. And, I mean, it is really bubbling over here at the minute.
As I said, we are going to give you a PFL preview. That'll be available on the talkSPORT MMA YouTube channel, so make sure you like and subscribe. But this is your review of UFC 311. Firstly, disappointment main event because we had a change of opponent. Last week when we were previewing, mate, we were getting giddy, weren't we? We were going, this could be a fight of the year, man. Looking forward to it. Islam Makhachev, Arman Sarukian. Which way is it going to go? We've got 15 minutes of data. How's 25 minutes of data going to look like? And the night before the fight, gets the phone call, my back's gone when I'm cutting weight. Fingers crossed he's fit and healthy and we get to see him at some point in 2025, but incredible disappointment for us all.
I mean, I was looking at his training leading up to the fight, Arman, and I was confident. I was like, wow, this kid's looking the real deal. He's never seen him. He's always in good shape.
Yeah.
But we'd never seen shape like it. I don't think I'd seen shape like it in the lightweight division. Like, I'd never seen a shape like it on a fight, and I thought, that's obviously a testament to the training that's going in, but that can also be a detriment, which it was in the end, overtraining, cutting a lot of weight. That's probably has a lot to do with what's gone on there. Gutted about it. Moricano stepped in. I mean, we kind of expected what was going to happen, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. But I'm going to give credit to both here. Obviously, the initial credit goes to Moicano, but I kind of expected it from him. If you're on the card, you're a 155er, you get the opportunity to fight for a title, jump the queue, so to speak. I expect him to stick his hand up and dare to be great and roll the dice because you're kind of playing with house money a little bit, aren't you? I think I've got more admiration for Islam, you know, because he's took Volk on short notice and dealt with him in the first round. And then he's taken Moicano. Okay, Moicano's a top 10. He's not a top 5, he's a top 10 in this division in the UFC. But he's took him on 24 hours notice and gone, I don't care. And his attitude towards, doesn't matter who it is, just put him in the octagon with me and then they'll find out. Well, Moicano found out, as we all expected him. But Islam, we've seen other champions say, oh, well, I didn't prepare for this guy. I'm going to go and do somebody else.
You're absolutely bang on, nail on the head there. Like, Islam really is about that life, innit? Anyone, anytime, anywhere. And a lot of people would have been like, no, I need time to prepare for this guy and this style. It's a totally different style. The guy was a southpaw, I was orthodox. All that stuff usually comes out. But Islam, nope. We've seen it in multiple interviews now. I'm ready for anyone at any time. He truly proved it. I feel like Moicano, it's a bit of a tough one because he was on a good little roll.
Yeah.
And the opportunity came knocking, he had to take it. How ready was he? We don't know.
Do you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me a bit of Masvidal this. Do you remember, like, Masvidal's been one of them guys for a long period of time in the UFC, similar to Moicano, where maybe he won some, he lost some, but you never really thought of him as a top contender. And that was how I was with Renato.
Yeah.
Until last year, he gets on the microphone, rocks it, said, I can't afford to lose and all that type of thing. And then he goes on this great run, 3 great wins, finishes, Benoit Saint-Denis, all that type of stuff.
Beautiful.
If you think of the year that Masvidal had when he came for Till, Askren, Diaz, it led into a last-minute shout for Usman. And then he kind of got dominated. It went 5 rounds the first one, and then he got knocked out in the second one. But the first one went 5 rounds, and he was never really in the fight coming in last minute, was he? And that's kind of what reminds me now of Renato, that he's had his moment in the sun. He's had that moment where everybody's gone, oh, he's my guy. But it's never really going to be back up the mountain again. It feels like that anyway. Hopefully I'm wrong, but that's what it feels like.
That's why you've almost got to feel sorry for him in a way because, you know, listen, he got paid. You can't feel sorry for him.
Yeah.
I'm sure he would have got a nice little drink on top, wouldn't he? You know, taking Islam on short notice. And, you know, at the end of the day, we're here to feed our families. But the run that he was on was sensational. He grabbed the mic. He was really captivating audiences. And it was just a shame to see it end the way it did, because he was completely dominated.
Yeah, and I think the hype with Moicano could have gone even higher, because I thought it was competitive. Him and Beneil Dariush was a competitive knot, with Beneil being out for 12 months. So if he can win that, then that hype just continues for a little bit longer, does it? And who knows where it ends up. Ultimately, he got to his goal a little bit too quick, if that makes sense. Getting the title shot a little bit too quick, and he found out what the level's all about.
I mean, you end up bumping into Islam Makhachev on a day's notice. It's about as difficult as it gets in MMA, really. Let's be honest.
I think so. What do you want to see Islam do next?
We discussed this off camera. Islam and Usman, who we're going to watch in the next few days, they're just different ball games. Like, he's had to send his mate over to Bellator because they're that good and they don't want to fight each other, and they're just completely dominating it. It's hard to see how Islam loses. I really believe that the only real test for him was our man.
Yeah.
Shame about the back injury.
Yeah. Where
it all goes from here, I don't quite know. But Islam right now is the guy. He really is.
Well, Dana's come out and said that because the automatic thing is for all fight fans, well, you just rebook Arman Sarukian, don't you? Yeah. It's his next fight.
They don't like that, do they?
No, but Dana's come out and he says, no, he's got to earn the right again. Okay, fair enough. So I've seen Arman Sarukian on social media talking about Charles Oliveira. He's beaten Charles once. It was a tight one. Don't get me wrong, it was tight. But he's come through him. Now he wants him over 5 rounds. I think that's a really big statement. I kind of like that. It's a great opportunity for Charles as well to get himself back in the mix and maybe get himself his shot back at Islam. And it's an opportunity for Arman to punch his ticket. We've got Ramadan coming up, haven't we? So he's got some time off as Islam. But I don't see, other than Sarukian pushing him, I just don't see where the current 155er is that causes him bother.
It's a bit of a mess. It's a bit of a mess. It's clogged up now because you've got a situation where our man is the contender. He is the number 1 contender.
Yeah.
This unfortunate injury has now pushed him back maybe a year. And we're not going to see the fight that we all want to see for maybe a year because of an unfortunate injury. But you know how Dana is and how Dana gets.
Yeah.
And it's back of the line. Fight again. Who knows what will happen? Listen, Charles was half an inch away from finishing him. Are we forgetting that choke that he had in the last minute and how close that choke was?
Yeah,
he went flat, but he was nearly out. So who knows what happens in that rematch? Do you know what I mean? So there's a lot of tight things going on in that division. There's a lot of ways this could play out now. I'm just upset that we never got the fight we all wanted to see at the time that we wanted to see it.
What about somebody, let's think outside 155, right?
Yeah.
We've got a weird situation with the 170 division for Islam. I'm thinking of greatness for Islam now, right? First and foremost. So Islam moving out of 155 and having to go at 170, okay? Bilal and Shavkat are going to fight.
Yep.
That's their title fight. Now, Bilal has spent time in Islam's training camp. I know that years and years and years ago, Shavkat has done the same thing. Is that a problem?
Listen.
If greatness is on the line, is it a problem?
There's only one fight that I want to see. If it's not our man, it's got to be Ilia Topuria.
Coming up.
It's got to be.
But what does that do for Islam? I'm with you. That's the fight I want to see. But what does it do for Islam Makhachev? It does wonderful things for Ilia Topuria.
I mean, it's the best fight out there for him. Like, Ilia's the guy with the hype. Everyone is behind him. You know what I mean? And if you go and put him to bed, you get that choke on him and you put him to bed like you've been doing. He is that guy anyway. But you really are that guy. You cement yourself as that guy. Yeah, he's coming up from featherweight, and we've seen it. Volt coming up from featherweight, giving problems. Shorter guys, stocky. Great fight. Topuria on an absolute tear. Islam on an absolute tear. I think that's the fight that should be.
I am with you, right? I'm with you. But the argument's always going to be coming back to Islam saying, you fought Volkanovski, he's a 145. You fought Volkanovski again, he's a 145. You've only defended, really, against 2 155ers. One of them's Oliveira, one of them's Poirier.
Okay, what does he get more out of? Beating Bilal or beating Topuria?
For me,
you have to think about
it. No. For me, it's absolutely 100% Topuria because I think Topuria is the real deal. And we've already seen Topuria have a little bit of a flirt with 155 when he fought Jai Herbert. So that absolutely ticks an awful amount of boxes for me. It's going to be interesting to see what they do with Islam because I think they're in a weird... If they don't give it to Arman, they're in a weird position as to what is relevant next. But at the weekend, defending against Renato, he's now got the lightweight record of the most amount of UFC defences. I can't see it stopping anytime soon. He's going to go on to to some real greatness and supersede absolutely what Khabib, I think, did within the UFC, mate.
Oh, I agree. I'm 100% on that side. And I just think this unfortunate back injury happened. Let's put our man back in the position that he's earned and deserves. Let's just forget about all this. Have 1 more, 2 more, 3 more, 7 more, wait a year. Why?
Let's get on
it
with
was an unfortunate thing.
It's the fight we want to see.
It happens.
Yeah.
It's the fight game. Do you know what I mean? I've been in the positions myself, mate, where this bad stuff's happened leading up to it, and you're like, oh, can I do this? Can't I do this? The magnitude of fight that he was in, he thought, I want to be 100% for it.
Yeah.
So, you know.
How are your knees, by the way?
Yeah, they're all right. They're getting there. We're back.
Listen, as well as an incredible amount of skill and technique that you've got, you were famed for your cardio, right? You're a very fit lad. You can keep going, yeah?
Wow.
Talk to me about Merab's cardio. Is it? Where are you?
Lance Armstrong, yeah. That's the only guy I'm putting him next to.
You can't say that. Because
no.
we all know how Lance managed to do it. You can't say that.
Well, I'm talking about when I look at it from the outside, I'm just like, how do you get fitter as the fight goes on? He actually does. He gets better as the fight goes on. He's like a steam train, mate, and it's actually pretty incredible to watch. And like, I do think to myself, because I know how I train to get that cardio, and I just think, I wonder what a training camp looks like for Merab. Yeah.
Just completely mind-blowing. And I never thought that I'd be in a situation where I'd be on a show saying that somebody broke a Nurmagomedov. And when I say that, I mean heart. You could see it on, don't get me wrong, he comes out for 5 and he has a go to Umar, but you could see in round number 4, he's thinking to himself, what the hell is this? Yeah. I have navigated this for 10 minutes. I actually thought Umar for the first 10 minutes was fantastic. I thought it would a bit nip and tuck in the first round. He lands a nice big overhand right, clips him. Second round, crisp kickboxing, and I was sat there going, Umar's winning this fight all day long. But then in between 2 and 3, Ray Longo in the corner of Merab says, right, put the pace on him now. I'm like, put the pace on him? Is he not going at full tilt? And then he went at full tilt, and I thought, wow, unbelievable. Credit to Merab, because how do you stop that? It's very, very difficult to stop when there's a concrete blanket all over you.
You know what it is? He's almost punching, kicking and wrestling all at the same time. Like, it's a style that I've not really seen somebody do it to that level, like against somebody as high level as Umar. It's just something that you don't know what to do. You don't know what levels are happening, because you go to defend, you get a punch in the face. You go to get punched in the face, you're getting tucked down, and he's kind of mastered that style with an incredible. I'd like to see what his resting heart rate is. I really would, because I'm pretty sure he's got to be quite close to mine, because that is what I watched the other night was probably the most insane cardio output I've seen in a mixed martial arts fight.
Yeah. I think the predicament now that we have with him might even be worse than Islam. The reason why I say that is because Merab has beaten the current number 1, he's beaten the current number 2, he's beaten the current number 3 in his division on the way up.
Amazing.
Obviously that's his first title defence, so people will make the argument, well, he's got to keep defending. Well, hang on a minute. Where do you find the contender? Because number 4 is Corey Sandhagen. Corey Sandhagen, with all due respect, was dominated by Umar. Number 5's Figgy, former champ from weight division below. Yeah, okay, but you've got to put some wins together, haven't you, to get the crack? I think we're in a real weird situation with Merab.
Give it Peter Yan.
Well, he's fought Peter Yan, hasn't he?
He has, but I just think with the way Peter's looking recently, I just think that's the fight to make. I think
because the fight with Umar was close, right? So most people have got it 3-2, right? Okay. I know you can make an argument for 4-1, but it's 3. In my opinion, it's 3-2 in Merab's favour. Could you do Umar versus Peter as an eliminator?
Great fight on paper, innit? I mean, it
really
make
that, and then the winner gets to play again.
I like it. And what a fight that would be! What a technical battle that would be.
Brilliant
between
fight.
Them two. So, yeah, I mean, Peter he is in the position now where is it 1 or 2's put together in a row now? I'm not.
I think he's won his last 2.
2, but look great.
Yeah. You know, really good.
Dong, great performance. I can't remember who the last one was, but they're both performances where I was thinking, right, he's champion for a long time. I think Merab, he underestimated Merab, in my opinion. You know, you watch Merab's style, don't you, and you think, I can beat that. But then it actually
then you're in with it.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? He looks like he's got that type of style. So I think, you know, after watching and training with Peter recently, remotivated, you're right, the Umar fight probably is a fight to make, but as a selfish fan, I would love to see the rematch from Merab straight away again, I would.
Learning curve for Umar, obviously, first defeat in 18.
Crazy.
Yeah, absolutely crazy. And do you know something? I don't think he should lose too much heart off the back of that, because you're fighting a freak. Technically, he was brilliant. And I thought in the fifth, he has a real good go in the fifth. But he just couldn't keep up with the pace. It was purely about condition. It's not about technique. It wasn't necessarily about not being at the level when it comes to the technicalities of a fight. It was just, I can't get my work off because this dude's all over me.
No, exactly. And listen, Umar is technically one of the most polished fighters I've seen in the UFC. He does everything great, like like Islam. So it's one of them now. Umar's got to lick his wounds. It's his first loss.
Yeah.
It's a tough one.
Yeah.
It can go either way, a first loss. It can be, am I really that guy? Or it can be, you know what, I'm going to get better. Knowing how they train and their mentality, it's going to be, I'm going to get better. And I look forward to the rematch because they're going to meet again. There's no doubt about that.
Oh, absolutely no doubt about it. Unbelievable fight. People's main event, without any shadow of a doubt, was Jiri Prochazka and Jamal Hill. We said it'd be a banger. We said it wouldn't go the distance. And we ticked all them boxes. But I'll be honest with you, when they were whacking the living daylights out of each other for 10 minutes, I thought to myself, this is going to go the distance. I think we're giving this the kiss of death, because the chin on the pair of them was absolutely sensational. But I thought Jiri, first round magnificent. I thought the eye poke played a real big factor in the second round, which swayed it back in Jamal's favour. For Jiri to come back out in the third round and deliver what he delivered, probably is, even though he's been champ and he beat Glover in the way that he beat Glover with the submission, I think this might be his career best.
No, I agree, and he's had a few rough ones himself, Jiri, to come back and look as good as he did. But what else was very interesting, I seen a stat yesterday.
Whoa.
Yeah.
You doing stats?
I'm the stat man now, by the way.
Let's go, baby.
He'd only put on £4.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah. He fights it, he's walking around weight.
So he's a middleweight.
He's an MMA middleweight. This is the thing. We talk about weight cutting all the time, right? And people getting down to weights to obviously gain the advantage. Jiri Prochazka fights at the weight that he walks around at.
And been champion
by
doing that.
Yeah.
And there's probably only a handful in UFC history that have been managed to walk around. BJ Penn was one of them. Could probably name the other four. But walking around at the weight that you are
and then fighting
is pretty much unheard of. You'll weigh in and you'll usually be around 20 to 30 pounds heavier.
That's what Jamal Hill was. Yeah, Jamal Hill was 20 pounds heavier than him.
20 pound heavier. Now you put 20 pound, like you actually think about 20 pound weight advantages is crazy. So he's doing this essentially in a weight class that he shouldn't be in, right? But he is making it work. So I think my next move is, if I'm not getting the belt, why am I not going middleweight? Why am I not cutting a key or two and going middleweight? Why? Do you know what I mean? Why am I not doing that? Tell me.
Is that where you're going?
I don't know.
Just fight at the walk around rate.
When I seen that stat, I thought,
you're never 185 walking around.
Right now, me?
Are you 185 now?
No.
You're about 170?
Yeah.
Right, so welter?
Yeah. 2 weights above what I should be.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, but that's your walk around weight.
Yeah,
so you'd have to put but you'd have to put weight on to do middleweight, you personally.
Right.
So if you were to fight at your walk around weight,
so I'd be fighting at welterweight.
Yeah.
Shavkat 6'7" or something. That's who I'd be fighting. Exactly. It doesn't happen. You know what I'm saying? Though? Leon Edwards, he's like that.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to put into perspective of what this man's doing.
Yeah.
And how impressive it actually is.
I'd also like to point out we're in Dubai, and this weekend Vadim Nemkov's fighting. Right, he's a heavyweight. Now he's a heavyweight. He used to be a light heavyweight, but now he's a heavyweight. In the Rising Grand Prix 10 years ago, Jiri Prochazka fought him at heavyweight. Jiri Prochazka was fighting heavyweight against Nemkov.
What's this Jiri Prochazka? What's he all about?
He's a wild man. He's a wild man.
He is. He's an anomaly.
But, again, incredible mental fortitude. He's just been stopped twice by Alex.
Yeah.
And now he's back, stopping the former champion. Can we make an argument for part 3? Even though he's been stopped twice by Alex, can we make an argument?
Not really, no, Adam.
It's hard, isn't it? It's very hard.
It's very hard because they were dominant.
Here, I've got something for you then, right? Because we've got Alex Pereira's going to fight Magomed Ankalaev.
Yep.
That's at UFC 313. I would say we've actually got a really nice division at light heavyweight. So we've got 2 lads at the weekend who were former champion.
Yep.
I would maybe take Khalil Roundtree for...
Jiri.
No, I'd go the other way. I think I'd give him to Jamal.
Okay.
Right? And then maybe Jiri to get the winner of Jan Blachowicz and Carlos Ulberg, which is happening in London in March.
I mean, the winner of Ankalaev and Pereira, like, who's going to go after that then? Who would you put in line after that?
Well, then I would say Jiri to fight the winner of Blachowicz and Ulberg.
Yeah, and then the winner of
as an eliminator.
So we have to have another 2, essentially.
Jiri has to have another one,
and
then he's in, if he wins it, yeah.
Yeah, no, I'll take you.
But Blachowicz would have to have two. He'd have to fight, or Ulberg, because Ulberg's on a tear at the moment, isn't he?
How do you see the Ankalaev fight, honestly?
Depends if he wrestles or not.
Yeah, but he doesn't really wrestle, does he? That's the thing.
If he wants to stand and bang, he might find out.
I know. He might find out. Interesting division, anyway.
Very interesting division. Red hot as well. Traditionally one of the best divisions in the UFC. What did you make? I'm jumping around fights here because the card got moved so much. So obviously we lost Beneil Dariush. Delighted that he's got his fight money and win money, and he's been promised another fight off the back of it. Gutted for him because it's his home place. He lives in California, to not fight against Renato Moicano. But it was what it was. So the heavyweights came up. We wanted a statement from the heavyweights. Almeida taking on Spivak. I thought Spivak was brilliant early doors, and then Almeida delivered the stoppage victory that we were all kind of crying out for, because the heavyweight division, which isn't like the light heavyweight division, we're looking for contenders, man. We're looking for somebody to do something.
Jump out,
and Almeida kind of did that.
Yeah. I'm a fan of Almeida. I really like his style. And like you say, it's very stagnant there in the heavyweights at the minute, isn't it?
There's only one fight that we want to see, innit?
What is it? Tell us.
Well, it's John Jones against Tom Aspinall. Let's be straight.
We haven't mentioned that before on this show, by the way.
Oh, I've mentioned it 3 times today. I've been interviewing fighters in there, asking them all about it.
Oh, God. Yeah, you're right, though. Someone needed to jump out. Spivak's always been there and thereabouts. So, you know, it was a good performance, and it's like the heavyweight division needed that now. It needed a new contender.
Yeah.
It's very stagnant. We're all waiting for one fight. We're all waiting for that to get signed. And in the meantime, it's anyone's ball game.
Well, he called out immediately off that Cyril Gane, and I think that works. Almeida, Cyril Gane.
Definitely. That's the fight to make, 100%
now. Kevin Holland, what was he doing against Renier Derrida?
Does he know what he's doing sometimes? It's quite difficult. Kevin Holland's one of them, isn't he? It's like, you just want him to do well, and he just...
I want him to make up his mind what weight division he's going to fight at, because he just floats between everything. This is obviously at middle. I think he's done his better work at welter. And for a lad that has a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and understands what the opponent is attempting to do, it baffled me a little bit. He kind of just let it happen.
He's one of them, mate. Like, he's another one that really is about that life. Yeah. Anyone, anytime, anywhere. We'll give him that. But then you've got to, every now and then, you've got to put in a good performance, haven't you? He's been having a few rough ones. He had the knockout before this one, which was it the knockout before? I'm sure. What was the fight before this where he looked really impressive? Did he knock him out or did he choke him out?
Choked him out. It was against Olivier.
Incredibly impressive.
That's right. And then before that, it was MVP.
And then you jump on the train again, don't you?
Yeah.
And then all of us, he's like, you want to root for him because of how game he is.
Yeah.
He'll get in there with anyone. He'll have it with Chimaev, everyone on a day's notice. He's about all that. And you're just like, you get given a bit of a bone. Let's have it right. I've said this about this Darren. He's a,
His striking is rudimentary.
Yes.
He has one trick. It's a very good trick, but if you know what the trick is, elite fighters should be able to stop the trick, shouldn't they?
100% agree. Someone of Kevin Holland's experience in the UFC and the level of people that he's fought should be able to navigate one-trick ponies.
Yeah. Well, Derrida, fair play to him. That's 2 now, and 2 victories. He called for a top 5er in the division. I'm thinking, calm down, because you've got Whittaker still, you've got Chimaev, who not matched as of yet. Everybody else seems to be matched with Izzy and Imavov and all them characters. I think that's a stretch too far just for now. Jack Manson, number 14 in the top 15 in the middleweights. Jack Manson, grappler against Derrida. What do you reckon?
Is he still getting about, Jack?
He's still doing a bit.
Time he fought?
I don't know, mate, but he's ranked still at 14, so he's at the fight.
Honestly, I didn't even know he was still active. I've not really heard that name in a long time.
I haven't seen him fight for a bit.
But yeah, I mean, you cannot put the Riddler and Chimaev in the same breath. I can't believe even like that.
I'm just saying what he called out.
That's what he wants.
Yeah, he wants a top 5.
But you think about that fight for a second.
No.
It's just, but we do keep writing him off. So.
And he keeps choking people out.
There you
go.
He's
had 2. He's choked out. I mean, Gerald Meerschaert's a very good. He's got the record amount.
Great grappler, yeah.
He's got the record amount of finishes in that division. So fair play to him.
So up the Riddler.
One guy that I told you to watch out for on the preview. I'm going to stop doing this because I keep giving people the kiss of death. I told you about Peyton Talbot. He was my one to watch last year. 3 wins, 3 victories, 3 finishes. Looked an absolute $1 million. Runs into Ione Barcelos. Yeah. This man said, listen, man, that is a tough fight. Watch yourself. What happened? He got all manned. Let's be honest. That's what happened. Experience. I'm not going to stand with you because you're really good at that. I'm taking you down and dumping you on your backside, and we're going to stay down here for a bit.
Mate,
Brilliant.
Barcelos is
Brilliant.
Yeah, no, he is, and he came in with a game plan. Yeah, I mean, we said it before the fight. You know, you was bigging up your boy, I bigged up my boy, and I was like, look, this is a tough matchup. Talbot just got all the flair. He reminds me of Yair Rodriguez. He's just flamboyant.
Yeah.
He's got it. Yeah, that's the type
Nice.
of style. It's nice. He's creative, but then you just run into old dogs sometimes, don't you? And that's what we're seeing.
When you watch this show, pay attention. If I big somebody up and he counters it, go with him.
No, but it's gone wrong a few times for me as well.
That's the third time he's done that, and third time he's been victorious.
Adam the stat man's counting every single one of them.
I am. They hurt every time. Moving away from UFC 311, I think it's only fair that we talk about our mate. He were out and about on the weekend. Till causing absolute havoc in Manchester. I say absolute havoc. I thought he was actually well behaved, Darren, all week. He didn't do any of the nonsense that he was accused of potentially doing coming into this. Obviously, it was a change of opponent. I can't even remember the opponent's name. It's not really my bag. I'll be dead honest. Thanks, mate. I'm referring to it because it's Darren Till, and for me, I think he still should be cutting in his cloth in mixed martial arts. But at the weekend, he's made his choice. He's gone into this Misfits game, and it wasn't even a contest, mate. He played with the kid.
Right, obviously everyone knows how close me and Till are. I am just really happy that Till is back in a ring, back in a competitive atmosphere, back training hard, and most importantly, making a few quid. Because, you know, at the end of the day, we are prize fighters, right? And we have to pay our bills on fights. And he didn't fight. Well, he had that one. I don't know what that one was. That one in Dubai. Yeah. Let's just ignore
with the
that.
riot.
So before that, we're talking about 3 years, no competition of a guy who's 30 years old. It's like you're in your prime. So I don't care who he fights. I just want him to have regular competition. He's talking about March and potentially Jake Paul and guys like that. Go make a few quid, lad. You know what I mean? He had how many UFC main events? He did everything he needed to do within the UFC. He come short with the belt, okay. But, you know, Adam personally wants him in the UFC. I'm personally just happy to see
Just in MMA general. That's MMA in general. I think he's got an incredible amount of talent.
Yeah.
And once he gets over whatever was going on in his head whilst he was competing, I think he can be a real force still in MMA. That's just my own personal thoughts.
100% agree with that. But if you can make easy dough, make easy dough. These are easy light work.
Right then.
Go on.
Easy dough, right?
Easy dough. No, really, really easy dough.
Of course it is.
That's probably the easiest dough I've ever seen anyone make.
But to make big easy dough, you need the name that you just mentioned there. You need a Jake Paul, don't you?
Yeah.
Tommy Fury, KSI.
Correct.
If any of them were watching that at the weekend, there's no way they're getting in the ring with Darren Till. There's no way, mate.
Blocking his number.
That's it.
And they're thinking,
they're not answering the call, man, because they're not about that life. With all due respect, listen, I think Tommy's going through a bit of a bad patch at the moment. Anyway, everything. I think he's admitted to a few things in his personal life. All right, so we'll leave him to one side. But the other two, KSI and Jake Paul, are not about the life Darren Till's about. If they step into the ring with him, they'll find out. Either one of them.
They've just spent the last 20 years playing computer games, whereas Darren Till's been out there competing, fighting the best guys
on the street.
World. It's a complete different conversation. It really is. You can't even put them in the same breath. But he's just immersed himself now in this crazy Misfits game.
I want to see it. I want to see Jake Paul. Listen, I'll tell you what. His argument coming back is going to be this, right? Jake Paul's argument is going to be, well, I beat the guy that beat you. I've beaten Tyron Woodley. That's what he's going to say.
Oh, wow. I forgot about that.
But the argument is, for me, coming that way, is, well, Tyron Woodley beat Darren Till by choking him out. He didn't beat him in a fist fight. Because Tyron Woodley's not stupid. He used his brain and fought him with the path of least resistance.
Yeah, correct.
Have a fist fight with Darren Till. See what happens.
No, I agree, and he's fighting 60-year-old Mike Tyson. He's not looking at prime Darren Tills, is he? Like, it's a really tough. You know what it is now? He's almost way better than everyone in there. Everyone's going to be shit scared of him after that performance. Excuse my French, but. Where does he go from here now? Like, who is actually going to sign the paperwork now? He should have almost gone in there. He was miles better than Anthony Taylor. Anthony Taylor's about that big. He played with him. He should have almost threw it a little bit.
Yeah.
To kind of get these other guys interested. Because now it's like, these are terrified guys now. They're not fighters, Adam. They're just the YouTubers and Disney channels, and they play PlayStation. And you got Darren Till running in there looking like an ox, just absolutely punching him all over. Do you know what I mean?
One thing that I will say about Darren at the weekend, technically he looked really, really good.
Yeah. He can box. He really can box. I mean, being at Rotundo around the guys that are inspiring Liam Smith, and he's doing it the right way. Do you know what I mean? Like he's took on boxing and he's immersed himself in boxing. He's around the best boxers in the country and the best trainers.
So does he need to fight a proper boxer?
Maybe that's the road he has to go down if that's what you want to do. But then the money's going to half, innit? Quarter. Tough. It's a tough position.
Yeah, it is. It is a tough position.
Now that we're actually discussing it and I think about it, it was great signing up there, but now it's like you've just absolutely wiped the floor with someone, which I knew you were going to do. We did. And you're immersed against PlayStation players, like...
Yeah.
It's tough.
Watch this space. I'll think of some fights for Darren Till to have, probably in the actual boxing world. I mean, that would be pretty impressive if he stepped into the proper boxing world and had a little bit of a goal there, wouldn't it? Anyway, there you go. That's how the weekend's action took place. UFC 311 was an absolute banger. Next month it's going to be Sydney, where Dricus du Plessis and Sean Strickland are going to be going at it. But we've got plenty of MMA to be talking to you about. Of course, we'll be reviewing everything that's happening here in Saudi Arabia on next week's programme. We'll give you a preview on that as well on the channel today. And of course, Saudi UFC is coming up, where Israel Adesanya and Nasruddin Imavov are going to be fighting, with MVP taking on Shara Bullet as well. So we'll give you a bit of a preview on that next week. So thank you very much for tuning in. Make sure you like and subscribe to the talkSPORT MMA YouTube channel. And from us here in Dubai, we'll see you in a minute, because we're going to start talking about some PFL stuff. So don't go anywhere.